Hey, what's up, everyone? Today, I'm gonna have a go at designing something for Dungeons and Dragons. I've had this idea for a little while. Basically, been looking into writing my own sort of third-party stuff for Dungeons and Dragons in some of the areas where there's not much. Oh, don't want to mute that. Just keep it nice and quiet. There we go. Well, there's not much content at the moment, although they haven't done anything with it for a few editions. And one of the areas that caught my eye and was pretty interesting is a place called the Mere of Dead Men. It happens quite close to the beginner module, The Lost Mine of Phandelver. The Meres in between Neverwinter and Waterdeep. It's along the high road. It's next to a city that could also use a bit of love called Lylon. I think there's a little bit of stuff in Storm King's Thunder, but otherwise not that much development. And the Mere hasn't seen anything since Advanced Dungeons and Dragons days, so seems like an area that's ripe for some new design stuff, and we can have a bit of fun with it. I've put some disclaimers in this document already, seeing as what I'd like to do is run some new quests in the same areas as the published stuff, so anyone who's played it can come back to that part and see how it's been developed. I've written some background here. So the kingdom of Uthtal, which is what the Mere used to be, it fell in the year 615 with an army of orcs and illithids that were known as the Everhorde. Had sacked Yarlith 4 years previously, and then they turned their sights to Neverwinter, but they were fended off with the help of Palarandusk, the Sun Dragon. And of course, the united armies, the dwarves, the elves, and the humans around here had suffered pretty heavy losses through this constant horde. On top of that, the goblinoid hordes, so the Horde of the Wastes, as well, had caused a lot of issues for them. So they were not very well prepared for another horde coming down on Uthtal. Now, the previous, let's say, court wizard of Uthtal had turned himself into a lich. His name is Iniarv, and when he saw the fighting on his doorstep, he got pretty angry. He started throwing spells around and causing devastation on both sides. Now, in life, the wizard had a pact with the king of Uthtal, and so the current king, King Uth VII, pleaded with Iniarv to honour his alliance and help deal with the horde. Presumably because he was still a bit naffed off of all the fighting, he presumably cast a wish spell which completely flooded all of Uthtal and Yarlith and turned it into a colossal quicksand and mud swamp. Now, his tower is the other side of the high road, and it's what the players will probably investigate first. And that's certainly how it reads with the original documents, which I've listed here. You got Slave Vats of the Yuan-Ti, Scaly Things, Dreadful Vestiges, Mistress on the Mere, and the Eye of Merkul. They all come from the ruins of Iniarv's tower, or rather Iniarv's tower at first, and then it becomes a ruin halfway through. If you're familiar with the documents, you'll know why. So essentially what I wanted to do was create a new outpost of this Iniarv's tower, considering a certain set of circumstances considered to have happened after the events of AD&D, but as this is a resource document and not a module, then DMs and players can mess around with it as much as they like, really. So now that we've got background down, I think really we should have an introduction above this section, I think. This is very much a work in progress. So I've also got a copy of Incarnate here, so when we get to designing maps, I'm not just going to take Diesel's maps from Dungeon Magazine. We're going to try and redesign them ourselves, and then we'll write some stuff in of what's happening now, basically. So, right, so we need an introduction to the document, really. So, this resource document is written for Dungeons & Dragons running 5th edition adventure in the Sword Coast region of Forgotten Realms setting. Provides quests and dungeons for the area, quests and monsters, quests, dungeons, and monsters for the areas skirting the high road known as the Mere of Dead Men. I mean, that seems like a decent introduction, to be honest. Maybe we should just jump straight into it and have a look at. So we'll do an overview of how to expect quests. Is there a way to do a new line break? I think you just have to fill it up, this section. So maybe we should do a box like this. So that's five hashtags. Okay. What? Oh, or is it the? Aha. Okay. Okay. Not much room there. If I keep going, does it? A, B. Oh. I see. Okay. So, to add some line breaks here. Oh. Just turn the land into the Mere of Dead Men as your players know it today. Attempts to drain or divert the swamp in the past have always ended in failure, as the swamp, as the Mere, always seems to extend, always in time creeps back up to the threshold of the high road, which is true. It's said that it's probably a tenet of the Lich's wish spell that until that wish is dispelled or he is defeated. Hey, sorry, 1 second. Hast 3110. Hi there, I'm doing very well. Thank you for following. I'm just starting on designing this document. It is my first ever go at this kind of thing. So I am doing what I can, and we'll get some pen to paper and things. If you have any suggestions or thoughts, I don't know how familiar you are with the area around Neverwinter Waterdeep, but yeah, please feel free to chime in with any thoughts you may have. So we need to discuss how the quests are going to go down, really. So we'll scroll back up. So yeah, okay, that's oh, mic's a bit low. Thank you very much. How's that? Bit better? So excellent, good. That's always an upside of someone watching. Right, so some dungeons, notable places, were first published in Dungeon Magazine. So that's our disclaimer as to the quests that are based on the Eye of Merkur. So the quests here do not serve as a, do not operate as a set module, but as a resource for dungeon masters to use as they see fit. Alongside each dungeon will be a difficulty. Will be a recommended. Will be a challenge rating highlighting what level the adventurers should be for to enjoy a balanced. No, how am I going to word this? Should be for the purposes of game balance, as it is written in this document. Strengthening, weakening, or otherwise altering any of the monsters and traps detailed here to better suit your party is highly recommended. Okay. Right. So. Ooh. Hang on. Okay, what's this? Could have sworn I had this on full silence, but evidently not. There we go. Right. So, right. So first up is Wallfield House. I'm going to use a separate line like this. I think that's 3, isn't it? Yeah, 3 hashtags. Or 3 pounds. Can we make that a bit bigger so it's not quite as close? Doesn't look like it. Never mind. I'm sure we'll have other alterations as we go. So, first up is Wallfield House. I should almost fire this up to get an idea of whereabouts it is in the mirror and whatnot. Yeah, there it is. So Wallfield House is on the southern end of the mere, so far to the south. Far to the south lies Wallfield House. Now, if memory serves, it was an old druid's hut that was taken over by the Yuan-Ti in the original documents. Hang on, can't. I need to fire that up over here. Yeah. Yes. Okay. So, yeah, there was a fella that built this house on a hill named Ezekiel Wolf. How was it? A well-travelled gentleman. I could have sworn it said he was a druid. Evidently not. Yeah, so it's just high enough that it's not being swallowed up by the swamp. A hut. Hill. Standing. I'm kind of wording this wrong. Need to think of the right way of saying it. Standing just out of reach of the murky waters of the mere. Centuries ago, this hut belonged to a well-travelled. Let's think. So this is tricky because these dungeons from way back when had all sorts of things such as constant effects and whatnot that messed with the magic in the area. They don't really do that in the later editions, I've found. Ezekiel Wolf thought it was a perfect place to construct his manor. Okay, so it's not just a hut. So a once grand manor stands upon a hill just out of reach of the murky waters of the Mere. Centuries ago, this hut belonged to a well-travelled adventurer. That's right, yeah. Okay, they never do say what he was. And that's fine, I suppose. So there's all sorts of misfire chances and things like that. And constant magical effects. I suppose we'll keep one of them because it's what makes the area interesting. Centuries ago, this hut belonged to a well-travelled adventurer looking for a place to settle down. I think let's yeah. And house his many treasures from a lifetime of plunder. Because if memory serves, there's a bunch of mischievous creatures at the top of the house. Or am I thinking of the other section? No, that's right, because they feed on the giant insects, don't they? It's listed here somewhere, I'm sure of it. Because I need to check and see if they've got any statistics in 5th edition. If not, we'll have to design them. Germ lanes, that was it. Place house his many treasures from a lifetime of plunder. Unbeknown. No. Named. Can't spell today. Ezekiel Wolf. Looking for a place to settle down, houses many treasures from a lifetime of plunder. What he couldn't have known was that his manor was built on a site of strange how do you say this? A strange magical phenomenon. Was that the hill and the surrounding area carried a strange magical presence, such that any adolescent creature not immune to magic that spent too long that lingered too long around Wallfield House would grow to an abnormal size. The insects that called the hill and that dwelt. Is that how you spell dwelt? Dwelled. In the waters around the manor. Monstrous ticks. So I think they say ticks, spiders, and centipedes. Cave cricket, giant flies, yeah. Monstrous ticks, flies. Beetles and worse. That's too many commas, though. No. Just leave this out. Ticks, flies, beetles, and worse. Tormented Wolf, his family, and his staff. Was still complications, because I think his wife was pregnant, but they lose the baby because of the magical effect. It's pretty dark. With his wife's, was still the magic caused complications with his wife's pregnancy, and both she and the child died. Ezekiel died alone among his treasures. Germline, I'm sure. There must be statistics for germlines. Let's see. Any adventures? Oh, I pressed the button there. Oh, right, 5. It makes me wave, doesn't it? Oh, where the... That's 3rd edition, though. Oh, it's in Mordenkainen's... Oh, right. No, can I actually... Right, okay. 5e tools? Okay. So we have that here. What we can do is start a section underneath for monster. Oops. stat blocks. Germline. Let's see. Is it a single one? Yeah, I thought so. Tiny humanoid, neutral evil. In fact, I think what I'd like to do with these is have them be corrupted, which I'll get to later. So, we need some regular germlines and some corrupted germlines. Is there a way to do a straight line like that? I don't think so. That's not too much of a problem. And then bolding is just double. Oops. It's my book. I will write it in okay. In British English. 3 hit points. I know we have to write this out the first time, but after that we can just copy and paste. 1d4 plus 1. I think? Yeah. And speed of 30 feet. That's how it's written, isn't it? Yeah. Okay. Tab? No. I don't know if there is a way to unless we do several spaces, I suppose. No, it still just does 1. And I don't know Unicode, so we'll do a nice long stat block then. 4 minus 3. There might be a way. I don't know it. 12 plus 1. Well, let's just type these all out. Looks a bit messy. Can improve it as we go. 13, 10, 11, 7. There's minus 2, isn't it? Yeah, thought so. Fishing bonus 2. Okay. Don't actually need to put a monster's proficiency bonus though. Skills, yeah. Give it a +5. Does that mean it's got expertise as well? No. It's just double its proficiency bonus. Fair enough. Dark vision only up to 30 feet with a passive perception of 10. Okay. Senses. Yeah, he knows undercommon. So I can give the corrupted ones Abyssal. I think I made him a... oh, I need to fire up my idea document. Where did I put it? Yeah, 5 encounters, so it is. Fraser Blue. Yeah. My mind is going blank. Is that a demon or a devil? I could have sworn that's a demon. Tenari Demon Lord. Yeah, of course. So languages, and then just a 1/8. Oh yeah, 25 XP. Cool. Alright, so they've got some abilities as well. Just gonna fire up the monster manual and make sure I'm formatting this right. Should really be in those little boxes, I guess. But I can't do lines, so it's not too much of a problem, I guess. Is there any... not quite marked down? No. No worries. What we can do is just, let's think. Oops. It's a single hash G. Oh yeah, that's like the full-on title. That's not going to work. So when we do... Is it 3 to do both? I think? Yeah. And then you straight up type thing. Germlings are invisible to dark vision. That'll be interesting for my players. Invisible to dark vision. I feel like there's a better way of saying that. Magic resistance. Keep forgetting the full stop. What did I give him this time? Advantage save versus spells and other magical effects. No. As weird as though, it's just like Germlane R, and then the Germlane has a Germlane, the Germlane. How's it in the actual stuff? The lizard folk can. Okay. So the Germlane is invisible to dark vision, and then the Germlane has advantage on... is it on or against? On saving throws against, yeah, okay. Spells and other magical effects. That's how it's written, isn't it? Against spells and other magical, yeah, okay. What else do they get? Swarming Rush. Cool. Adds 1d4 to weapon damage rolls while within fight. Oh, so it's like pack tactics then. Okay. Just any weapon damage or melee weapon damage? Within 5 feet of another germ lane. I suppose it's not quite as powerful as pack tactics because it has to be another germ lane. Unless that germ lane is incapacitated. And then vermin friend, speak to and understand rats and giant rats. Okay. Vermin friend? I would say friend of vermin, but to understand rats and giant rats. So we've got a club and a dart. Yeah. The allied rodents seems better, but I think that's the text of the folio, most likely. So it's bold actions, club. This is in same again, yeah. It has a -1 to hit because of its low strength. It's still using a club. Fair enough. The 5 feet? One target. 1d4 bludgeoning damage, -3. Minimum of 1, presumably. Do I need to put a new page down? Because that's coming up over here. / page. Okay. Okay. That works. Then we can format it later. For now. It looks better. So what was the other attack? I think it was a dart. Yep, ranged at +3. So the point of these little blighters in the original is that they try to ward off people by making the place appear to be haunted in a sort of a mischievous way. Whereas once we get to the corrupted ones, I think their motivations are going to be slightly different. Add feet? I've never seen that before. Try them. Oh no, it is like that. Pardon me. 1 target. 3 1d4 +1 piercing. Okay. Okay. Well, that's one little critter. So now we'll go about making a corrupted one. Why do I keep forgetting the space there? So, still going to be tiny. Or should these ones be bigger? No, because they wouldn't lose their magic resistance. They will, however, be chaotic evil. So, let's copy all this. What do we want to give them that's different, though? Oh, hey, is there a way to change the page break in this after PDF exporting? What on earth are they? Might just have to copy those. Keep that in mind. Let's see. Is there anything on demon templates? Demonic templates. Oh, this is a forum post, so. Demonic boon from Toma foes. Okay. I think that was a thing with the tieflings, wasn't it? Let me see. Demonic boon. Yeah, page 30. Oh yeah. So where's Frazobi? There he is. Nothing on the stats there. Hang on. Ah, there it is. So up to a +4 bonus to wisdom, charisma, or both. Minor illusion, disguise self. They're not really going to need invisibility. Hypnotic pattern though. Liar's eye. They get advantage on insight or perception and can automatically detect the location of all illusions and hidden creatures within 15 feet of it. Okay, so that'll make them pretty nasty to fight normal germlanes. I'd like to give them a few more hit points as well. Make them a little bit more formidable. And the point is that they absolutely swarm, don't they? So they can get a boost to charisma. Would put them to 11. So I could have advantage on perception. This should probably reflect that a bit. Can give them proficiency to it, I suppose. Perception is +2, which would make their passive 12. Give them abyssal. I think they should also have a spell of some sort. What is Hypnotic Pattern? Thank you, roll 20. 30-foot cube. Each creature in the area who sees the pattern or charmed by the spell, they're incapacitated and have a speed of 0. Can't really give all of them that because it's a little bit strong. Preferably just Warlock. Illusory script, eh? Some other suitable writing would be it. Oh, okay. There's Hypnotic Pattern. Major image. Okay. Out of all spells, what have we got? I like the idea of them being able to really up the haunted house by having writing appear on the walls and things. Now there's mischief, eh? Okay, that's, yeah. Too mischievous. Nistel's Magic Aura. Oh, okay. Yeah, create images. If Frazer Blue's supposed to be a demon with the Weaver of Lies and things, it makes sense that they would have minor illusion cantrips. And hopefully that would help people get quite creative with what the Germlines do, I suppose. So, I need to remember how you write down them having a spell-like effect. Oh, there we go. Spellcasting ability. Which comes along with the abilities. Maybe they should have different abilities here. Like lose the vermin friend, because the rats suddenly don't trust them. Spellcasting. Maybe a flame attack as well, that'd be good. Spellcasting. Corrupted. I have to write all those, don't I? Has limited access to spellcasting. Its spellcasting ability is Charisma. So the DC would be 10. It's not hard. So. And then 2. Still buzzing. Okay. So how does this work now? Cantrips at will. Yeah. And the point is there's supposed to be loads of them, so give them anything more than cantrips and they'll become much harder out of nowhere. But, yeah, it's just minor illusion. And produce flame? Probably, yeah. Something a bit more bite to it, I guess. Give him a dagger to set them apart, which means that they're at a +3 to hit, not an =3. And now doing 3 same piercing damage. Suppose they should still have darts. Makes sense. I could change his swarming rush ability as well, because it seems like they'd be a sort of a turncoat mountebank style traitor kind of thing. But what ability can we give it? Let's have a look at what demons have. Small level demons. You would think like a is it a dretch, I think? Would have something allows it to swarm with its allies, so let's have a look. So it's a quasit. No, they don't really have anything. A scare, frightened for a minute. It seems like in large numbers could be a real pain. Mains, Manez doesn't have anything. Yeah, Dretch. Fetid Cloud. That's not really what I'm after. No. What about an imp? Does an imp have anything? Or are imps devils, aren't they? Here's some work on it. Yeah. Magical darkness doesn't impede their dark vision. Yeah, that's not a bad idea. Yeah, let's go with that. What was that called? Devil's Sight, so I guess Demon's Sight. So it means they're probably not doing as much damage in swarms, but they have sort of other ways to be a problem for the party. I think we could probably bump it up to a quarter though. Okay, yeah, I'm happy with that for now. So, we go back to writing Wallfield House. For a time, the mana lay abandoned, lay lifeless. Swarm, well, tribe of Germlanes emigrated. No. Took over the manor. Took over Wallfield House to take advantage of the ready food supply. Yes. Hey, Apple. This is Tabaxi. No, I'm a Leonin from the Therosian books. So, yeah. The Mystic Odysseys of Theros. Pay no attention to the fact we're writing for Forgotten Realms. Take advantage of the ready food supply. Took over Wallfield House to and taking advantage of the oversized insects as a ready supply of food. Shortly afterward, tribes caught wind of the magical phenomenon in the rear. There was a name for them, but I can't remember what it was. Hang on. His statues. I swear there was a name for it. Or I might be thinking of one of the types of UNT that's in there in the original story. Okay. Shortly afterward, the UNT tribes caught wind of the magical phenomenon surrounding the manor and sought to use it for UNT abomination. I think that's what they're called, the big snake-like fillers. Yeah. By the name of Sisiska. Infiltrated the ham. So essentially the Yuan-Ti have the ability to create clones, and what they were doing in the original adventure was capturing humans and cloning them over and over again, taking advantage of the magical growth powers of the manor, meaning that they had giant bodyguards. Now, what I'd like to do with this adventure is essentially assume that all the equipment stayed below Wallfield House, even though the Yuan-Ti were defeated. And someone else has moved in, a tiefling, who is subservient to the Tanari Frazerblu. So what he's doing is not only corrupting some of the germ lanes with demonic energy, in a more direct way of keeping people from the site, but is also concentrating on cloning one captive over and over again to create an absolute colossus, effectively. So, whereas there are several megalomen in the original thing, what we've got at the end of this adventure is one very large corrupted human, which should make for a fun little fight. It might involve some destruction of the house above. Could be fun. But we'll cross that when we get to it, essentially. So let's see. Infiltrated the house and built tunnels below. And expanded on the existing cellar to make room for cloning vats. The Yuan-Tis. Does it actually mention cloning in the 5e description of them? Let's see. Devious serpent folk, devoid of compassion. Within jungles, swamps, and deserts, they plot to supplant and dominate all other races and make themselves gods. So, humans who lauded the serpents' sinuous flexibility, calculating poison, deadly strike. Right, so cold, calculating. Okay, so the religion has since grown more fanatical in its devotion, indulging in cannibalism and humanoid sacrifice, sacrificing their humanity to become like serpent gods in thought and emotion. So they have a lot of, human transformation in their history. Doesn't actually mention any of this. So Malison's toes. Yeah. Master of the Pit. So it's a lot more sort of jungly and dark cult stuff. There's nothing actually about cloning vats in here from what I can see. So you might come to the conclusion then that they've since forgotten how to do this, which would be an interesting twist, I guess. So the infamous Yuan-Ti practice of cloning humanoids was once the anti-practice of cloning was once feared by many southern settlements and desert tribes upon which the serpentine upon which the serpent folk preyed. But as their devotion to the snake gods increased in fanaticism, their use of technological means of transforming humanoid captives has given way to magical and more magical and religious methods. Makes sense, I guess. So now, and that's just suggesting an in-universe reason as to why you don't hear about the UNT creating cloning vats or anything like that. Sisiska's plan was to clone captured humans captured from the Mir, combining to rapidly grow clones. No, because they're not replacements. Images of their victims with the magical aura of Wallfield House, resulting in combining their ability to rapidly grow mirror images of their victims, the magical aura of Wallfield House, and let me think. Indoctrination. What's the words I'm thinking of? Indoctrination via hypnosis. To create a legion of fanatically devoted megalomen, 7 foot tall, clones. Well, we could use more medical professionals right now. Yeah. Just next time you see a doctor, pay attention to his eyes. See if they're slit like a snake. Medically devoted. 7 feet. Tall. Muscular. Megaloman. So we need to give a sort of a background as to so in slave bats. Wait. This is the background to slave cats. Okay, Apple, take care, dude. Have a good one. So they track down a UNT. Is it pure blood? Yeah. Back to the manor. So it's a UNT pure blood named Izal. Enoch, back to the manor and uncover the operation. Following adventure. Wait. The following dungeon encounter assumes that defeat Izal and Sisiska and the Megaloman sell or destroy the slave bats. Assumes that that party defeated is written as if that party defeated Esau, Sisiska, and the Megaloman, but do not sell or destroy the slave bats. Perhaps not even uncovering them, because if memory serves, they were under an illusion spell. Right, so if we fire up a module, just to get an idea of how it's written so I can ape the style as I go. Okay. Do a section for the Dungeon Master, I suppose. We get the next. We'll just do next page, can't we? PDF exploring. Oh yeah. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. In fact, I think I should have some text here. Did I actually name this fella? No. Oh, that's right. Yeah, not all of the Megalomen were defeated, so it's written as if that party defeated Isao and Sisiska, but not all of Megaloman, and do not sell or destroy the slave boats. So under Wallfield House, worship the slave bats as bringers of light. Oh, that was right. They called it a Dwemer. Let's get that wording in here somewhere then. Carried a magical Dwemer, such that any adolescent creature not immune to magic that lingered too long around Wallfield House will grow to abnormal size. Monstrous ticks, flies and beetles tormented Wolf's family to staff. Worse still, magic caused complications to the wife, and she and the child died. Ezekiel died alone among his treasures. Yeah. For a time, the manor lay lifeless. The tribe of Germlanes took over Wallfield House, taking advantage of the oversized insects as a ready supply of food. Nah. Shortly afterward, the Yuan-Ti tries to caught wind of the magical phenomenon surrounding the manor of the Dwemer. A Yuan-Ti abomination by the name of Sisiska infiltrated the house and expanded upon the existing cellar to make room for cloning bats. The Yuan-Ti practice of cloning was once feared by many southern settlements and desert tribes, upon which the serpent folk preyed. But as the devotion to their snake gods increased in fanaticism, the Yuan-Ti's use of technological means of transforming humanoid captives has given way to more magical and religious methods. Sisiska's plan was to clone humans captured from the Mere, combining their ability to rapidly grow mirror images of their victims, the Dwemer of Wallfield House, and indoctrination via hypnosis to create a legion of fanatically devoted 7-foot-tall muscular megalomen. This is the background to Slave Bats, the Yuan-Ti. In it, adventurers track down the Yuan-Ti pureblood named Isao Enoch back to the manor. Uncover the operation. The following dungeon encounter is written as if that party defeated Isao and Sisiska, but not all of the Megalomen, and do not sell or destroy the slave bats. The remaining Megalomen under Wallfield House worship the slave bats as bringers of life, though they would have since died out, so Did they work out how to use it? It seems to be sort of stretching incredulity as far as I'm concerned. Let me read into it. 27, 28. Oh, that's right. This place is huge. Did I only get Wallfield House, or did I get the cellar? Oh yeah, I did get the cellar. That's fine. Catalogued in a manual. So it's extensively written on how to do it, but I think the way these creatures are gonna yeah, anti-propaganda and mind control techniques. That's what they said. Yeah. Hypnosis. Yeah. We'll just copy the wording. Yeah, it doesn't suggest that these clones would be particularly intelligent enough to perform the cloning themselves, despite it being catalogued. There'd have to be some kind of intervention, or they would die out. I'm wondering which is better for the story. If they're worshipping them, then maybe they could do it, but not correctly. As bringers of life. Let me see. Catalogued in a manual on the subject. Yeah. Not limited. I don't want to say bastardized either. Underwent imperfect cloning procedures as if it were a divine ritual. Became distorted homunculi. And their previous selves having gone mad from... Because that always happens when you've got two of the same, one always goes mad. Driven mad by pressure of a dual existence, were not ritually, but cannibalized by the cult. Gruesome. Oops. Oh. I can't do a line break? Oh, there we go. The tiefling servant of Fraz Blue. What are we calling him? There's going to be so many of these. Virtue names? Casimir, that'll do. Tiefling servant of Fraser Blue, exiled from Lylon, sought refuge in the mere and was drawn to the house by the Dwemer. Oops. Tiefling servant of Fraser Blue, exiled from Lylon, sought refuge in the mere and was drawn to the house by... Can we just say drawn to the house? He has imposed himself as the life vats made manifest, corrupted the denizens of the house, and has taught them to ride the giant insects into destructive attacks on other parts of the mere, while he breeds a colossal demon man to unleash upon Lylon. Cool. So, how do they do it in the thing? There's always, you always get given these quests by Sir Justin Malenicus. So, really, we need to talk about what's happening in Inyav's Tower in this version. Before we get to any of this. Readers familiar with the Eye of Cool quest module, written by Eric L. Boyd in 1999. Oh, I don't need to go into this again. The station, a long time ago, a detachment of Hellknight paladins took up residence. Ow. In Inyav's Tower to handle the looming threats of monsters and undead from the mere of dead men. Handle the threats to trade on the high road from monsters and undead emerging from the mere of dead men. The men were led by is it good? Yeah, no, he's just a renowned Knight of the Helm. Yeah. Need to work out what to do with Oragamantar and Waveir Endor. I feel like they should still be alive, but that will make them really strong, because if they're still alive, they'll be getting on for Ancient. I need to check the strength, I suppose, of both McCool and Helm. So, McCool's not very strong now. Quasi-deity. But Helm's dead. Or is he dead at this point? Return 1486, so he's back. And he is a deity as opposed to a quasi-deity. Okay. During dark times during the century he was dead, incorporated into Tyr, his worship never truly disappeared. Since his return, his faith has steadily rebounded. Okay, so we can say that when Helm returned, yeah. McCool, the Lord of Bones. I need to break the pages up differently. Has but a fraction of the godly power, unholy power. Once did. But it is well known influence within the mere of dead men is strong. To no avail. In 1486 DR, the year of the second sundering, when Helm returned to the realms. So Justin and Paladins. Yeah. As ghosts to haunt in the Owl's Tower. So Justin, meanwhile, was transformed into a deathless and stands vigil outside of Inyar, outside of the lair of Inyar, the Demi-Lich. Okay. Okay. So we need stats for that as well. I guess we need 5e Ghost as well. It's easy enough. Get rid of this. Delete. Okay. Right. So back to stat blocks. It's all coming together. Oh, Timmy. It's handy. Same hit, same armor class. 10d8. I guess incorporeal armor. Oh, hey, Enforcer Hound 1. I'm very well, thanks. Just doing a bit of writing, killing some time. Been thinking of putting this project together for a little while, so. Feet. Nope, don't need speed again. There we go. Seven. Constitution's 10. Intelligence 10. Wisdom 12. So make them slightly. Oh, I guess they've got really good charisma already. So this is messing with my character's face, isn't it? While I type this, just realised. Okay. Resistances. There are a lot of them. Acid. Can I just copy this? No, I can't. Acid, fire, lightning, thunder. And then. Comma? Okay. Damage, immunities. Cold, necrotic, and poison. And condition immunities. I'm at work attempting to make a character as my Thursday character died. Dang. What are you playing? 5th edition? What kind of level racing class are you going with? Put my phone over here so I can see the chat as it comes. Charmed, exhaustion, frightened. Oops. Grappled. Paralyzed. Petrified, poisoned, prone, restrained. Makes sense. Haven't figured out class yet, either wizard, leaning more towards bard. The race is half orc. Yeah. No, I like that because you could always have like the war drums and things if you really want to take the sort of the tribal side of things. I always like the idea of a half orc that has escaped from some of the tribes in the Spine of the World. Like there's some quests in like Neverwinter, the MMO, where you're fighting the orcs that have taken over the Tower District, and there's a group of 3 half orcs that's just, well, if you want us to come over to your side, basically defect for the Lord's Alliance and fight for Neverember, then you got to prove that you're strong enough to defeat the orcs and the Orogs that we know they have. So something like that, I'd always be keen to do. So like a war bard or something with a drum. Just passive perception. 11. Don't think they knew anything but common, but I will double check that. Actually, come to think of it, I don't even think this section about the Helmites and whatnot even discussed. Like, sure, yeah, you don't want to go too much of a stereotype, but I find working off archetypes can actually be pretty useful for me. Like, that's where I start, anyway. Have you seen is like Tasha's Cauldron allowed? Because that Bard of Creation, a non-tragic backstory, yeah, to a Don. Oh no, right. I was going to say, I don't recognise that that phrase. Cool. So like I think I've seen some webcomics like that with a little knight and a giant orc lady. I don't know why I'm looking for these stats. I can just as easily give them common and be done with it. Yeah, let's do that. So, unless I give these guys anything else, it will be challenge rating 4 and worth 1,100 XP. Not that they should be attacking them, but you never know. It should have space there. Formatting. There we go. You can have a guy who really doesn't like undead. Just any kind. What's this? Ethereal Sight. Oh yeah. Helmite Ghost. Can see 60 feet into the ethereal plane whilst on the material plane and vice versa. Too many. Ow. Well, my eyes hurting. And through other creatures and objects as if they were difficult terrain. Takes 5 or 1d10 force damage if it ends its turn inside objects. Okay. So that's at a +5. Oops, didn't mean to do that. All my emotes are set to my numbers. Every time I'm typing in numbers, it's making me do things. One target. Can't spell today. Hit. How to meet the reason for why she's adventuring not tragic. It's difficult because like if you make a character that's associated with family, you need a reason as to why they're leaving that family. But it can be slightly less of a problem, if they're in a sort of a rural setting. It could be that, or say they move to the city and the husband's not doing as well plying, gadgets and things, or whatever trade they've gone, and your character takes it upon themselves to, put themselves in harm's way for a big payout. That'll come up in a second if you say any ideas. Or they could be missing. They could. Your character's husband could have owed money to some shady guild. Subsequently, found themselves captured, and whilst on their on your quest to discover them, to find them, you've run short of money and had to join up with a band of adventurers, or even just by way of circumstance, find yourself joined up with a group, and you can sort of suggest to the DM that imagine she's really calm and chill, whether when pissed her orc side go. Yeah, maybe a dip of a level or two into barbarian if you wanted to get some crunch to go with that fluff, really. But yeah, that absolutely works. The kind of berserk button. Thing that's always a good trope to rely on. I always like the Darfellan, the 3rd edition for that. Basically, calm and lovely fishermen. The second they see a Sahuagin, they will literally do anything they can to tear them apart. That was it struck me as interesting as a character side of things. Well, you get a lot of enchantment as well as if you're going with a bard. So influencing emotions and things could be an interesting irony and stuff. Like if you can make other people burst out in laughter, or fall down insane, hear voices, or just fall asleep, and yet your character's having trouble controlling their own emotions. That seems like an interesting thing to explore whilst adventuring. I don't know the dynamics of your group, whether they're sort of heavy on on the roleplay and individual character discussions, or whether it's a real kick in the door dungeon delving kind of thing. But you could bring it to the fore or set it to the background as and as appropriate, really. Should I make it necrotic damage? I'm wondering if making it radiant damage would... We'll call it Helm's Touch. Zealous Touch. Ethereal. Still can't spell. Says, how can I make the Pied Piper idea? Oh, yeah. Sorry, I think I missed a message. The idea is she's a mum going out to save her family by sending money back to them. One of the kids is sick, probably unsure yet. Bad idea was going with a... Oh, okay. Yeah. Well, if you're being a Pied Piper kind of character, then you could, it seems like if you ran an orphanage or something along those lines, kind of thing. If you were, if you're in an urban settlement, the idea that this sort of kindly, gentle giant who extends a hand of companionship and sanctuary to street urchins, or wards of the city, kids down on their luck, basically. That'll be how I run it, but that's just off the top of my head, really. Or you could have some kind of Fey touched background. Friends with a satyr, maybe. It's or you were given your pipes from a Fey creature, whether that be in a nearby forest next to your settlement, or before you met the family or the party. There's a lot of ways you could play it, really. It could even be some kind of deity. There must be a deity of music, and probably not in the Orcish pantheon, but Milil. And serves Ogma. Oh, right, okay. Good aligned exarch of Ogma before the era. Predominantly worshipped by human, elf, and half-elf bards. So, yeah, that would be as a half-orc. If you were raised by your non-orc parent, that could be a human, elf, or half-elf. So you could have been raised in a home of that was dedicated to Milil. Don't know if there's anything about children here. So okay, seems to lend itself to bards pretty closely, even wielding a rapier. So if you wanted to take the religious side of things, attractive, sensual, and musically inclined followers. In addition to their affinity with song and musical instruments, they tended to appreciate good food and wine and the beauty found in both nature and civilized society. Composed primarily of clerics, but also includes bards, mystics, and spell singers. Could I whisper that god? Oh! Good timing. Thank you for the follow, Info-Sound. Appreciate it, man. Yeah, so it's excellent terms with a number of powerful gods. I feel like, or even if your half-orc was an orphan of war, so to speak, they could have been brought up in similar situations as the children that they are trying to raise up the lives of. That seems like a good way of doing it. If your parents between a war among I don't know, one of the many hordes, the Horde of the North, that King Obund is bringing together, then you could be from Neverwinter or closer to wherever it is, Icewind Dale. Yeah. Is there any magic items that fit with the Piper idea? There are. I know that the satyrs in 5e have pipes that have magical abilities themselves. Pipes, yeah. So they work as an arcane focus. So entangle, suggestion, vicious mockery. Words, and I think there might have been something in the DMG as well. Nope. Well, where was it then? Was it Xanathar's? Pipes of Haunting. That's probably not what you're after, but it could be a something to build on. Well, there's an instrument. There are magical instruments as far as magical items go. So there's an instrument of illusions that actually do more. They're only common items, wondrous items. You can create harmless, illusory visual effects within a 5-foot radius, but if you're a bard, that increases to 15 feet. So you can make musical notes while playing a spectral dancer. You can have butterflies falling around you or snow. Something along those lines. I swear there was... Okay, that's a different pipe. Pipe of smoke monsters. That's the kind of pipe that you puff on. But yeah, there absolutely are magical items for just instruments, and you can build that however your DM will let you. That's the kind of thing that you bring up with them and say, I'm looking to have this to help me realize what my character wants to do and wants to be. Could you, put it in the campaign at some point, or at least just take it on advisement. Enters the ethereal plane from the material plane. Vice versa. Can't affect or be affected by anything on the other plane. Probably have to change this. But then, let's get it typed out first. Creature in 60 feet. Oh, I did it again. Sure. Ghost that can see it must succeed on a DC 13 Wisdom saving throw or be frightened for 1 minute. If the save fails by 5 or more, the target also ages 1d4 times 10 years. Seems mental. You just age 40 years on the spot. Frightened. Target can repeat the saving throw at the end of each of its turns. Ending the frightened condition on itself on a success. If a target's saving throw is successful or the effect ends on it, for it, the target is immune to this element. Ghosts. Thanks for the help. Have to go. Work is picking up and I have to think on the bar. No worries, man. Thanks for tuning in. Let me know if you have any other thoughts next time. I'll probably be around other times. Good luck with the games. I hope you have fun. Take care, dude. Got to remember to change that if I do the name for the next 24 hours. Aging effect can be reversed with a greater restoration spell, but only within 24 hours of it going. You ever play an old man character and accidentally get aged 40 years? I could keep that. I want them to be like undeads that fight undead. Don't know. I'll leave it as it is for now. Also got possession. There. Goes, can see within 5 feet of it. Must succeed on a DC 13 saving throw. That'll be possessed. Can't imagine when they would actually do this, but it could be fun. Body. Now controllers. The body, but doesn't deprive the target of awareness. It's kind of horrifying. The ghost can't be targeted. Attack. Spell or other effect, except ones that turn undead, and it retains its alignment, intelligence, charisma, and immunity to being charmed and frightened. It otherwise uses the possessed target's statistics, but doesn't gain access to the target's knowledge, class features, or proficiencies. Okay. to 0 hit points. The Hellmite Ghost ends it as a bonus action. Or the ghost is turned or forced out. Effect like the Dispel Evil and Good spell. Okay. When the possession ends, I've lost my place. The ghost reappears in an unoccupied space. Target is immune to this ghost's possession for 24 hours after succeeding on the saving throw or after the possession ends. Man, that's a long one. Okay. And there needs to be a lot of I feel like we need to change Horrifying Visage. I'll work it out another time. I think we've done well today. I'm probably going to call it here. So it's getting on a bit. So let's copy this to my text here, and yeah, so that's where we are now. We've got a fair few more pages, lots more detail. I'm feeling good about this, so we'll put some more time in another time. I don't know if anyone is streaming some D&D. My mates don't tend to play it, but we'll see if we can find someone to raid. Why does this always stay unmuted? Oh, hey Zia's playing some Minecraft. We'll go raid her. No, it's just me. Alright. Take care, guys. Ta-ra.